Hi everyone, Luke here from Figmento Films, and today I'm actually shooting from my bedroom because we're in a big lockdown. Usually I'll be working on some sort of project like a wedding video or something. However, with what's going on, there's not much happening for me work-wise, so it's a great opportunity for me to make some vlogs. And today I thought I would look at LUTS. A LUT, for those of you that don't know, a simple way of putting it is it's kind of like a really advanced version of an Instagram filter. It's basically a bunch of settings that you've made in a editing software like Photoshop, where you make adjustments to things like contrast, colour, brightness, saturation, and you can save all these settings as a file and then drag them onto your footage and it will create a grade for you. We're going to look at the advantages of this and the disadvantages and what you should look out for, and I also want to delve a little bit into the cinematic look and the kind of myth behind the cinematic look. So just so everyone's aware, my camera is actually shooting in Vlog at 422, and my B camera is actually shooting in Cine D, because I'm also going to show you how you can create your own LUTs so you don't have to spend loads of money elsewhere. And I will also recommend a couple of LUTs that I think are really good as well. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so firstly let's look at this whole cinematic look thing. The truth is, a cinematic look is the grand ending result of a whole bunch of people's creative process. The cinematic look in reality can be whatever you want. Look at films like Saving Private Ryan, The Godfather and The Blair Witch Project. They all had runs in the cinema. They all look visually vastly different. So the cinematic look involves taking time to think of where your film is going to be shot, how it's going to be shot, what type of lights you're using, type of cameras and type of lenses, type of props. This is how you create a cinematic look. And that's all there is to it really, all that work. Not grabbing a LUT pack, dropping it onto your footage and hey presto, you've got the matrix. It's not how it works. However, LUTs are useful for helping cut grading time down, but be aware, grading is still involved. A lot of the time these LUTs are created from certain images or footage that's going to be vastly different to your own footage. So simply dragging a LUT onto your footage, you're going to look at that and go, well, this isn't what I was advertised. Well, the truth is, it's because your footage is different to what was advertised, and that's as simple as that. And this is why you should be wary of people saying they're going to give you some footage that is, they're going to give you a whole LUT pack of cinematic looks. No, in reality, I'm sorry to say, a lot of people, they make these looks, I don't even think they approach it in a scientific way half the time. They change a few settings in their chosen photo editor of choice, and they create these LUTs and then they package them up and sell them to you at a premium price and promise big things. No, some LUT packs are really good, and even those are usually just a foundation from which to work from. For me, the only LUTs I really use now are the Leeming LUT Pro LUTs. The reason for this is there's actually a whole bunch of science gone into that. That basically being, he uses colour checker charts, white balance, he watches out for highlights, tells you the best way to get the results. This is what I'm looking for in a LUT package. What I really want when I'm shooting in Vlog is the high dynamic range that it gives you. It gives you scope to create these really interesting grades, and that you can't quite do in 8-bit because the image will start to fall apart. So what I really look for is a neutral place to start from, and that's exactly what he does. He does offer some stylish ones as well, which are still great, but the neutral one for me are just a fantastic foundation. And be wary who you're buying from, because it's quite easy to do this, as we're going to see. So should you buy LUTs? Yes, but be careful where you're buying them from. Are they useful? Yes, but you still have to do grading as well. Will it give you a cinematic look? Partially, it's part of a process of creating a film. You can't just create a film by grabbing your camera, filming stuff and going, oh, I've made a film. There's a lot more that goes into making a piece of cinema, especially, than just grabbing your camera, which is, without veering off too much, why I get very annoyed by all kinds of buzzwords that you're hearing. Oh, shooting a GH5, oh, shooting full frame, oh, 4K, oh, 8K. No, these are all buzzwords. They're going to keep you from actually working out what the cinematic process is, which is a big process, and it's more than just a single lens, a single camera, a single sensor size, or a bunch of LUTs. I think it's about time we have a look at making our own LUTs. This is where LUTs come in handy. If you really want to create a look that is more specific and personal to your project and films, making them yourself is the best way to go, because it might take more time to create them, and you might have to spend a bit of money on colour checker charts and a few other little tools, but it's not massively expensive, and it will save you money in the long run. The ones we're going to do today, I'm going to try and do them quickly, just to focus that on the fact that it's not rocket science. I'm really not a smart person. In fact, I'll probably make all sorts of mistakes, and you can tell me off in the comments below, that's fine. But I just thought I can just hopefully just give you a shove in a sort of right direction, and just let you know that you can do all this stuff yourself. For me, I haven't got a colour checker anymore, unfortunately, so I'm just going to do white balance, film a bit of footage, and then create a quick grade, show you how to import it into Premiere Pro, put it onto your footage. We're going to do one on Vlog, which is the A camera that I'm shooting on now, GH5S, and we're going to do one for Cine D. Now, Cine D was shot on my G9, and it's how I've got all the B footage for today. And the footage, all this footage at the moment is I've got the Leaming Look Pro LUT on, and then all the footage at the end will be shot with my own grade, which will just pale in comparison. It's just not even going to compare, but hopefully it looks kind of alright. You know, it's just a quick thing, and yeah, so let's actually get on with the making of this then. Okay guys, so I'm going to try and make this quick for you. The first time I did this, it was like 20 minutes long. So basically, I've got my vlog footage right in front of me, dragged it onto my computer, and I've opened it in Photoshop, which creates this video timeline down the bottom. So with this, what I really recommend as well, just a couple of things. Firstly, we're doing the vlog one first, and secondly, this footage I shot 10 seconds of myself just doing this, basically looking at the camera. Worth doing, because then it gives you something consistent to grade with. As you can see, vlog means you get this super flat vlog, or a log profile gives you a super flat image, which increases your high dynamic range. So dead quickly, let's have a look. Okay, so firstly, we're going to be using layers and adjustments and curves. If you don't have any of this, you want to go up to window, you can go workspace, and you can reset it. If there's anything missing, you go to window, and down here you can find everything down here. You click it and it will pop up on the screen. First thing, we're going to go over to adjustments over here. We're going to click on where is it? We're going to go for brightness and contrast. Let's add some contrast. It's so wide, the gamut is on it, that we're going to go down here, click on brightness and contrast once with the right mouse button. Sorry, the left mouse button, sorry. Then we're going to go Control J, and we've increased it. And I increased it again, but I think that's a bit much. But we can work with this. Go back to adjustments, let's create an S-curve. Okay, so an S-curve, so you click on this one, the curve's down here. S-curve, you can control your brightness and your darkness. You click on it, adds a little dot. The top bit controls brightness. Bottom one controls darkness. Let's make a S-curve, add a lots more saturation, and say we want to add a bit of a fade to some of the colours, but I don't want to put a fade in on everything. Let's just say I want to do just the blues in the background, just the shadows really. This little bit here says RGB, it's a drop down menu. You can click on that, you can control the individual colours. So if I click on blue, there we go, I go right the way to the end of this, and I just bring it up a tiny little bit like that. I think it makes it look quite punchy. I could bring that down a bit. There, I quite like that. We're not going for super accuracy here, we're just trying to create a kind of look that I could use for my vlogging videos. Now, I find my GH5 has a tendency towards green, and what doesn't also help is just behind these curtains there's a load of trees, and their light is reflecting, bouncing, hitting the side of me. I'm going to go back onto here, go for green. I'm just going to take it down a tiny bit. Less is more. If I push it, I'll just look green. Just bring it under a tiny bit, and it should bring the reds out. There we go. Does it see how little I've changed it there? There we go. I don't want to look too red. There we go. So if you make a mistake at all, you can just press Control Z and it will take you back a step. I'm quite happy with that. Let's go to adjustments. Let's go to saturation. So one more time, you go adjustments, you click on saturation, and you can edit it down here. This brings up this menu here. In the middle, you've got your saturation bar. Here, you've got master, where you can change individual colours. What I'm going to do is just slide it up and down and see what I think, basically. Shall I make it more washed out? Shall I make it more punchy? What looks cooler? How about, let's have a little mess around with stuff, see if we can push this a bit. Let's take this down a bit, so a bit more faded. But let's go over to adjustments again up here. Click on the adjustments tab. Let's go to vibrance, upside down triangle. Click on that. Let's add more vibrance, which will add more colour to the background. So that's quite a lot of vibrance. Let's add, put 30 in there. If you click in the box, you can delete what's in there and put a number in and just press enter. And now, if you come down here to this bottom where I'm circling, hover over this eye, then hold Alt, and then click the left mouse button. You can do it before and F after. So what are we thinking so far? Well, we've got to keep in mind that we're also going to add a bit of grading in Premiere Pro as well. We're trying to just create a neutral look, so we don't want to spend too much time here. So I think maybe where I took the saturation out, if I click back on this here, just double click it, maybe I want to put that back in. Yeah, it feels a bit more, it feels more neutral. In fact, I'm going to try adding a bit more to the reds as well. Let's go for, yeah, bring a bit of the reds out. And something really cool you can do, go onto the adjustment tab. This button here is black and white. If you click on this, then you go down to layers. Underneath kind, you want to go where it says normal. You can scroll through all this stuff, but go to luminosity. Now we can control the luminosity of certain colours. Now this green cast down here, let's see if I can take it out a tiny bit. Yeah, just slid it down a tiny bit. If you go mental, it's it just kind of falls apart. So if I Control Z and then bring it back down a tiny little bit, just till it's kind of disappeared, like, and that's okay. Bearing in mind it's going to adjust everything on your image as well. About reds as well. No, I don't want. No, I'm kind of happy with that, to be honest. Okay, so once you've edited the image to how you like it, we need to add a background, otherwise it won't export it as a file. So we go up, left, layer, new layer, layer from background. Okay, now that we've done that, we can go file, export, and color lookup table, and we can vlog video template. That will do. You can change this description to whatever you want. We want to save it as a cube. All the other ones you can click off, so we're going to click OK, and then let's give this a name. So we're going to call it the vlog LUT, the vlog bedroom look LUT. There we go. Save. Okay, now that's created. All of those settings have been saved. Here it is. The next thing we're going to do, I'm going to turn Photoshop off because it's quite demanding on my PC with my screen software on as well. So Control S just to save that. I'm going to turn that Photoshop off, and we're going to enter Premiere Pro, which I've already opened. I'm going to find my footage. So let's go for this here. Let's just drag and drop that. Will this break my PC? Let's find out. We're going to give it a second. There you go. As you can see, I've been doing all sorts of stuff. Over here we've got our sort of histograms and vector scopes and stuff. This sort of stuff will help with your color grading. I'm not going to go into all that today. I'm just looking at the LUT today. So here is my vlog footage, very flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Lumetri Color. Going to click where it says Basic Correction, Input LUT. We're going to go click on this. We're going to browse for it. Now let's have a look where it is. We're going to go to, I think mine's in H, LUT video, and I think it's here. There we go. Vlog bedroom LUT. Let's have a look. And there we go. Boom. So now we can do a little bit of grading in here as well. Down here we've got basic correction. I could add more reds. I can take reds away. I can add and change the temperature. Do I want it a little bit warmer? Let's play the video. Just for a style choice, let's make it a little bit cooler. 12. And then what else could we change? We had some shadow. No. How about the contrast? Let's have a look. I might bring the contrast down a bit now actually, because it's looking very contrasty. I'll take it to -12. If I want it to, the overall thing to look a bit more faded, I could go to the blacks and do this. And then we could also go to creative. We could add vibrance. We could take vibrance away. We could add, again, we could add more fade here. The sharpen. Now I think it looks very sharp. I actually think I might take it down a very tiny little bit, just to soften it up a tiny little bit. There we go. Now I actually might take these blacks down as well. Let's bring them up a tiny bit. Less is more. And then maybe bring this up a tiny bit. And highlights, I've got a lot of hot spots on my face. I ain't going to get rid of this off my shiny board though, but we could maybe bring them down a tiny bit. Let's try this big number. That's pretty cool. Still got that green cast coming in, bouncing from the walls outside. I could go into more detail about getting rid of that, but let's just try, let's go down to curves again. Green, click in the middle. Same as Photoshop really, so just tiny little bit. Okay, before and after. I think that is okay. So I'll export this and have a little look at it. And just to let you know, if you're worried about changing this footage down here, what you can do is you can go click where your footage is, you go up to the top left, file, you can go new adjustment layer, drag it on top of your over the top of your footage. I could copy all of these attributes now onto here, Lumetri, remove them from this bottom one, remove attributes, and now I can basically just add the grade onto the adjustments tab instead. There we go. And just as another quick thing, if you go down to creative, you can also add a LUT on what you've already done. So now that it's converted, there are LUTs that are already made for Rec 709. I could go down here. I like this one down here, neutral start. Okay, super punchy. So what could we do? Well, I could go and just, it's on 100. Let's use this slider. Let's take it down to like 20. Now hopefully that looks quite distinctive. So I've used a mixture of LUTs and a mixture of colour grading, but it was dead simple to make the LUT in Photoshop, and you can do all this extra colour grading in here as well. I could completely take off creative if I want. It depends what you want to do really. And let's take the last 10 seconds and we'll export this, and then we're going to go and grade the Cine D from the G9. Okay, so we're back again, and this time we are going to look at the Cine D, which was all the B shots. So I've opened up a shot in Photoshop. This will do, and we're going to do a quick little edit with won't go too long because we've already got the other edit in. So let's give this a really quick grade and let's see what we can do. So there we go. We've got one for Vlog, one for Cine D. I've tried to make the Cine D one a little bit more obvious as of a grade, a bit more stylistic, and yeah, really quickly, it is that easy to do, but it is very hard to master. Okay, so fingers crossed this doesn't look too bad. This footage that you're seeing now and the B footage that you should be seeing about now is all my own grading from my own LUTS that I created on the computer in Photoshop. I didn't do anything too advanced, I just wanted to show you that you can do this and it doesn't take too long. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out. When you start looking at people's skin tones and colour checkers and histograms and all sorts of stuff, the more you're going to get out of this, and it's really quite useful. If I've done anything wrong in this video, just comment below. If you like what I've done in this video, leave me a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button for more videos, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.